Hello, everyone. Welcome to Deaf Mute Studio. This is the Murmur by Deaf podcast. I am joined by sex god Garreth Gibson.
Not a horror fan this time. Me label's changed.
I thought I'd give you your proper title.
The secret's out. I appreciate the lies, but yeah.
It's all true, ladies and gentlemen. But today, Gib, recently, Con Air has had its 20th anniversary. So,
oh shit, I didn't know that.
So we need to talk about Con Air.
We do. What a film!
Oh, incredible film. So I'll start this off how I usually start these kind of things off, Gib. Do you remember first watching Con Air?
I do. I feel like it was either Sky Movies, like when it was premiered on there, or it might have been like the pay-per-view, like box office, whatever it was at the time. I think we had cable, like some
cable classic.
Dodgy cable at some point, yeah. But it had its own like pay-per-view. I feel like it might have been that. Oh, we might have rented it to be. I don't know, maybe we rented it. I can't remember. But I remember actually watching it. I just can't remember like how, you know what I mean? Like where we got it from. But yeah, I knew it's one of them films where you saw the trailer for it. It's Nick Cage, shit blowing up. It's gonna be my thing. And it was.
100%, mate. I was this is always a fun fact of mine. But when Con Air first came out in theatres over in the UK, it was a 15.
All right.
Which meant I got to go see it with my mum.
Oh, nice.
Because she loves Nick Cage, and I do too. Yeah, I'm a disciple.
That's where you get it from, though, obviously.
Yeah, it's all genetics. So I don't think I was 15 at the time. My maths is not the best, but to see a film like that, which was later on VHS and DVD, released as an 18 film.
Yeah, I was going to say I always thought it was an 18, even though it's not really. I don't think it's really warranted for an 18, but I think it was a bit harsher back then, wasn't it, for violence and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I looked online and it said the BBFC changed it to an 18 because they believed their initial 15 rating was far too lenient.
Okay,
but I honestly don't see so much to warrant an 18. There's the character Johnny 23 who's a rapist.
They could. I was just going to say it could be that really with the threat of it, you know. But that's. I mean, there's nothing like really graphic or anything, is there? That's more dialogue, kind of like threatening. But apart from that, I mean, it's not like super gory, is it? It's not. It's just shit blowing up.
I think shit blowing up. The language used.
Yeah,
there's a few N words in there. There's a lot of F bombs.
Yeah, I guess it's maybe not totally politically correct, but I mean, a lot of films went back then though. Is it 97? Is it 97, 98?
97, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if. Yeah, I don't. Is it a 15 now? Is it? I can't remember if.
I mean, on IMDb, it's got it down as a 15, but IMDb's it's American, innit?
Yeah. 15's. I think a 15. It's a hard 8. It's a hard 15.
Yeah.
But this is I've seen a lot worse 15 rated films for gore and like horror films. Of some of them have.
I mean, The Woman in Black was a 12A.
I think The Woman in Black. It's a funny one because there isn't really there's nothing really to warrant it being a 15, but it's just again it's like the threat of stuff and the tension, like the tone of it's not really a 12A, is it?
I mean, to be honest, I went to pitch to see The Woman in Black, and I was just like, Harry Potter in a horror film, and it's a 12A. This is gonna be gash, and I actually screamed in the cinema watching it. And people were laughing at me. So, what do I know?
I've seen the play, and I was probably more scared watching the play, to be honest. There was a couple of little shit me up jump jump scares in the play.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, ugh, like that, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We divert. As we always do.
We should rename this podcast the Diverted Podcast. But yeah, to get back to Con Air, I mean, it's not a deep film whatsoever. It is what it is. It's just an action romp, and
it's not trying to be anything less, anything more. Like it's exactly what it's like. You say, when I saw the trailer for it when I was a kid, and yeah, it just delivers on exactly what it's what it's saying it is. And it just came from that great era as well, from the 90s, like touchdown pictures era, which there was a lot of them with Nick, like a lot of them starred Nick Cage as well. You had like The Rock, Gone in 60 Seconds, Snake Eyes, Face Off, there's Bringing Out the Dead. There's probably a couple more, but I can't think. But I do like look back on that era of films quite fondly. Like I say, like renting them, getting them on pay-per-view, yeah, they were just. I do miss those. Miss those days. That type of film.
Yeah, Snake Eyes is a shout, by the way. I really
it is, isn't it?
Film.
Yeah, I watched that recently because they say they're all on Disney Plus now. So I've been kind of rewatching a lot of them, like films like Dangerous Minds and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I do. I do like. I've got a soft spot for those type of films. Gross Point Blank and stuff like that. Like,
what a film.
Yeah. So I always associate Nicolas Cage though with that type of era of films as well.
It was very much his era, the 90s. That I think that's when he was in his pomp.
Yeah. And he's took on a lot of varied roles as well. Even though he was in a lot of they were quite similar type films. He always, played like different roles and always stole the show.
I think with Nick Cage and Cameron Poe, I think Cameron Poe's one of my favorite Nick Cage performances.
Yeah, same.
Just because as much I really like the dialogue in this film.
Yeah.
But it's very on the nose.
It's really like it's like, these are the bad guys, this is the good guy. You're meant to like him, and it does it really hams it home for you, doesn't it? And as I say, it does through the dialogue as well. Yeah,
he's just like this true American hero. He is a Boy Scout. Yeah,
morals for days.
Yes, he gets sent down for defending himself and his wife. But the thing that what I love about Cameron Poe is all of his very quotable lines.
Yeah,
like, "Dear Casey, it was so good to read your letter."
That's the southern drawl is just there. It's like, I was just admiring your cage.
and even like it is very cringy, but hummingbird. Tell her she's my hummingbird. You're like this film's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's his best accent as well. Like, I just wish he spoke. I just wish he actually really spoke like that. And
we need a TV show of Cameron Poe.
Yeah, and it's probably like the coolest he's looked as well. Like I think he suits that look as well, of just like the long hair and stuff. He looks cool.
The long hair, the vest, and by the way, not like it's. Films these days, it's all about 97, it was really before social media or anything like that. But everyone gets praised for like getting jacked up and throwing dedication into the role, and I think it's because it was all the way back in 97. No one really gives Nick Cage credit for getting that beat up, because he was seriously buff.
Yeah, and I think it's just because he's a big tall dude anyway, but yeah, he did jack up for that film, and he does look like an action star.
Yeah,
I feel like he's not really remembered as much for that, because he has done a lot of very tight roles, and even though he's been in a few action films, he's never really been like the action star, but he totally is in this though. He could have made a career of just doing those type of films, I think.
Oh, 100%.
But I think he was never like a. I think he just always took what was given to him, to be honest. But I would have loved to have just seen him do a whole career of him doing films like Con Air and Face Off.
I think the difference, like if you compare them to other action heroes, Arnie, Van Damme, Stallone, Seagal, it's like they.
I have to laugh every mention Seagal.
But their wheelhouse is action and charisma, bravado. Whereas Nick Cage, he's much more of a thespian, more of an artist than the other. Not to say that the others can't act. I mean, I think Arnie can act. I think he does really well. I know we spoke about it on the Predator episode.
Yeah.
Stallone can certainly act.
Yeah. Stallone's got, obviously other talents behind the camera as well, which isn't an easy transition, but he's always been able to do it. So, but I think he's a different different kettle of fish, really, when it comes to those sort of actors.
I think if you were to put it on a scale where like you've got the action heroes on one end and say Daniel Day-Lewis on the other, that's your spectrum. I think Nick Cage is closer to Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Than the
maybe slap bang in the middle.
Yeah.
But no, I would have loved to have seen a lot more films with him, like Con Air, though. I feel like he'd have done that quite well.
True. I always see the Nick Cage action era as three films: Con Air, The Rock, and Face Off.
Yeah.
And I think I love all three of them films. I think they're fantastic. And it's kind of like a little Nick Cage action trilogy, all condensed in the late 90s. And it's like, he can't really top that. So I'm kind of glad he went, I've done the action. I want to do my thing now or get in debt and repay the IRS.
just do 100 films.
Exactly. But I think Con Air for me, it's because I think I watched Con Air before The Rock and Face Off. So it was really my introduction to action Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And absolutely hilarious performance, but again, I'm not sitting there watching Con Air laughing at it.
It's like you're laughing with it.
Yeah, I'm like it's so cheesy. But there's nothing wrong with just an entertaining, cheesy film with lots of action. It's a joy to watch.
Yeah, it's not like, they weren't making it thinking, oh yeah, Oscar season's coming up soon. Let's get this let's get this airplane movie out the way.
And I've got to say, like, I think it's one of the best ensemble casts in recent time. I mean, you've got one of my all-time favorites, Cole Meany, who plays Agent Malloy, who by the way is one of my favorite characters in the film.
Yeah, he plays that. He's good at playing that prickish, he's just like an old school. He's a very old school guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
But his American accent is a little bit dodgy in parts, but you can hear his Irish accent just creeping out every now and then. But maybe he was like an Irish American or something, you know what I mean, from Boston or something like that. We'll give him a pass.
But yeah, he's like always, like, if I see a film with him in, like, I always like perk up. I was like, oh my god, it's Cole Meany. But it's also got Michael Williamson. It's got Nick Chinland, who I can't really remember much of him being in anything else, but he's got one of the best voices going.
Yeah, every time I see Nick Chinland, it's like, right, he's a baddie. He was in He was in Riddick. He was a baddie in that.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And he was in. I always think him and like actors like him in the 90s. Him and like Peter Green, you know, who played Zed in Pulp Fiction. Every time you see like them, you're just like, he's gonna be a baddie, and then they always are. And funnily enough, them two are in Training Day together as well.
Oh, they are, yeah.
Both like Denzel's like crooked cops as well. So, yeah, he's got like a proper growly voice, though, hasn't he?
I've always wanted to see Nick Chinlund and Michael Wincott in the same film together, or just an audio book.
Yeah, or just a podcast, just them, just
yeah.
chatting shit.
I'd listen for days, but it's got John Malkovich, who I think this was one of the first films I saw John Malkovich in, and I thought, this guy's brilliant. He's just, I mean, John Malkovich he's a proper thespian. He's in the art, so you can see he's just kind of took this role just for the money, and just gone, oh, I'm just going to ham this up. I'm just going to have a lot of fun with it, like Alan Rickman in Prince of Thieves.
He has got a very Alan Rickman way of like doing the bad guy, but I think his take on it as well makes him quite a compelling, you know, a compelling villain, because, as I say, he doesn't totally lose his cool. Like, he does kind of, but he doesn't like completely lose his cool, even when shit's kind of not going the way. He's very calm. He's kind of always got a lot of, you feel like he's got a lot of it, you know, already planned.
Yeah. So
he's kind of, you know, always kind of 10 steps ahead of everyone. So yeah, I love baddies like that, like, you know, but you know, he's a bit of a, you know, from when you get your exposition dump at the beginning of like all the characters, which usually I really hate, but it
works, doesn't it?
It's quite fun in this film.
Yeah.
So you obviously hear, you know, he's done a lot of vile shit to people as well, but yeah, because he's quite sort of like calm and quite together as well, it just makes him come off as more dangerous to me. Instead of just some of the clear-cut villains that you get as well, like in the film.
Yeah. But yeah, and he has some great one-liners as well.
He does.
Like, nobody move or the bunny gets it. Brilliant.
I like how he just sort of like disregards a lot of the other criminals as well, and just makes them all feel like this, because they're all like just kind of like sheep, aren't they? Because they obviously just want to follow him and Vig Rhames, just because, you know, they're the, you know, the key to freedom. Who else is there? I know there's the guy who plays the pilot. Is it MC
Gainey?
Yeah,
he's another one.
Played a lot of baddies. I remember him being in Breakdown. Do you remember that?
Yes, with Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he was in that, and he was pretty similar character in that. But I'm sure he popped up in a few more 90s films as a villain. People just must have them looks, and they just kind of get typecast a bit.
he plays it so well. Last thing I saw him in, he was in a few episodes of Justified with Timothy Olyphant.
Yes, he was. I think Nick Chinlund was in a couple of episodes of that as well. I'm guessing he was as a bad. I need to rewatch that
show.
I did really like that show. I don't think I got to the end to it though. I think I got like about 4 seasons in. I think
I'm the same, to be honest. Yeah.
I think I remember it being on Netflix, and then it got cancelled while I was trying to binge it, and I just, you know, moved on to the next thing after that.
But yeah, it's like so good, and of course Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, it was very well, he is just playing Dave Chappelle, but yeah. Like, not too long, but probably quite early-ish in his career.
Yeah, he, again, gets some great lines. I think pretty sure everyone in this film gets at least one really good zinger.
Yeah,
and it's really good. And also Rachel Tacotton, who was in she was Maria in Total Recall.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which I only found out a few weeks back. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was watching that recently, and I was like, I'm sure I recognize her from something. So it'll definitely be Total Recall. The dudes there, is it Renly Santiago? The dude he's like, I always associate him with 90s films as well. He's the guy who's like the one in the dress.
Oh, Sally Can't Dance.
Yeah. And he was in Dangerous Minds, he was in Hackers. So I always kind of associate him with some 90s films as well. Yeah, so I was a bit of sort of one of those actors that you see, you get a bit of nostalgia when you see him.
He gets some great moments in this film. I always remember my mum howling off him, like just mincing around, and
when he got his gun as well, and he's just like,
yeah. But the bit that got the proper laugh in the cinema when I went to see it is when it's towards the end. Cameron Poe's knocked the fuck out of everyone to get to the pilot, and like he goes to punch Sally Can't Dance, sees that he identifies as a woman and just slaps her.
Yeah, I think he like backhands or something. Yeah.
That got a big laugh.
That was funny.
And also Steve Buscemi as Garland Green.
Yeah, I always that's one part. I mean, maybe that's sort of like watching it now as a bit older. I always find he's kind of quite weirdly handled in this film. I don't know if you agree. Like, they kind of, he gets his expedition dump, and he ate children and all that stuff. And I was in my mind, I think when I was watching it originally, I was always like going to be picturing someone like really, really scary. And then I think I was a little bit underwhelmed when I found out it was Steve Buscemi. And then, they kind of weirdly tried to make him a bit likable, which I don't really understand. And the fact that he gets away and stuff, and I never totally understand where they were going with that. Do you agree? Or
yeah, I mean, I think it's more of like because we had the exhibition. I can't even say it, but we had exposition dumps for like for all the inmates. John Malkovich, and they're all like, John Malkovich, he's killed more people than cancer. Nathan Diamond Dog, he's a black militant. He's like, they're all like larger than life convicted criminals. And then you get the last one who's done by far the worst stuff out of all of them combined.
Yeah.
And they kind of underplay, but you go, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, right, yeah, they're not doing the one-upsmanship. Yeah, the kind of, what's the word? Subverting your expectation.
Oh, yeah, it totally does. I was maybe expecting someone a little bit more intimidating, but I mean, I guess that was maybe the point. But yeah, I feel like they do weirdly make him very, I wouldn't say sympathetic, but they do try to make him quite likable, and I don't really understand why. I guess they have the bit where, he sees a little girl and you think, oh, he's going to kill her, but then he doesn't. So I don't know if they're trying to make him redeemable, but if he's done all this really horrible stuff, I don't really know what the thought was behind that.
I mean, in some ways, he's almost like the comic relief of the film. Yeah. Like when the plane's crashing on the Las Vegas Strip, everyone's panicking, and he's got his doll in hand singing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life."
Yeah.
Which I quite like, to be honest, because you can only take so much of machismo badassness.
Yeah.
So I think I do agree with it was a strange choice, but it was I enjoyed it, the juxtaposition of it all.
Yeah, and then like the bit that obviously like he gets away and then he's in Vegas, kind of putting on a bet, like there's going to be a spin-off, of what's his actual name? What's his name in it?
Garland Green.
Garland Green. Like there's going to be a Garland Green, like hits Vegas, like spin-off or something. But then what are they trying? Is he going to go around carrying on killing people? Is he reinformed? I don't know. They didn't really make that totally clear, like where he was, mentally.
Yeah.
Or did he just want to get away? I like the bit when he's talking about when they're playing Sweet Home Alabama on the plane, and he's talking about defying irony, like a band that were famous for being in a plane crash, and I thought that bit was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's I mean, like I said, it's got so many good lines in it, memorable lines, and like everyone gets a fair share of them.
Yeah.
which is really strange because I know because it was written by Scott Rosenberg.
Oh, okay.
And he had a good run of form in the 90s because he obviously wrote Con Air, but he also done. Do you remember his Disturbing Behaviour?
Yeah. No, I
wrote,
really like that film. That film was probably totally different to what he wrote, though. That got changed.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, which I do still like the film that we got, but apparently it got totally changed, like test screenings and all that jazz. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that film.
Yeah, and he also done the screenplay for High Fidelity, one of my favorites.
Okay.
And
another Touchdown Pictures film.
Yeah, and the screenplay for Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, nice. Again, another Touchdown bit. So I guess that's probably who were paying his bills for a while.
Yeah, and one that really shocked me was it was before Con Air. He wrote Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead.
Oh, okay, makes a bit of sense.
Yeah,
it's got those vibes to it.
And he's got because with Things to Do When You're Dead, it was branded as a cheap Tarantino ripoff because all the sassy dialogue was all back in and the rave because of Tarantino.
Yeah.
And I'd say Scott Rosenberg is very much trying to channel Tarantino in terms of dialogue, especially in Con Air, because it's very... There's a few pop culture references. It's quite witty.
Yeah. It's just quotable. It's there to be, you can tell you maybe the writer's notes. It was every 10 pages we need a catchphrase. Someone needs a zinger.
We need to get those zingers out, people.
Yeah.
We've got a quota.
Those t-shirts aren't going to sell themselves. Well, yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
And another thing I picked up on, giving it a rewatch, and it was very much like we were talking about with the Predator, not the Predator, but Predator, is the soundtrack, the score.
Yeah.
It's fucking incredible.
It's brilliant. And again, it's the one that's constant throughout.
Yeah.
Just variations, and it just kind of dials up and up and up as it goes, as it goes along. But it's just it's a great action score. It's just, it's not something that you'd super notice right away, I don't think, but it just complements all the, all the shit blowing up and, everything else really well.
I just love the way the score heavily leans on guitar.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the days of the synthy, electronic scores have been pretty much gone by then. So, I think it just lends really well to the big. It makes it more grander, I think. Those type of films, and it reminds me of like the score for Bad Boys and things like that.
Yes,
just those type of scores, and The Rock as well. The Rock's got maybe not as memorable, but it has got a very strong soundtrack to it as well,
and it adds to the testosterone of it all.
Yes, it does,
and it's just great to watch. It is pure testosterone on the screen. It's majority male cast. Apparently on set, it was the usual. Again, like Predator, everyone trying to one up themselves because they've got that lad mentality going on the screen. Who can work out the hardest? Who can lift the most? I read somewhere that it was that competitive on set that if someone spat on the floor, everyone else around them would spit as well to see who could spit the furthest.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I can imagine that.
It's not an environment I like to be in, but hearing about it and just it's cool. It's funny. It's mad.
Yeah. But yeah, I do love the cast though. The cast is very 90s. It just gives you that you get those 90s nostalgic feels from it, don't you? Just seeing everyone. But yeah, it's a great ensemble cast. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that they were probably all probably in the bars the next, in the nights as well, probably all trying to one up each other. Who can spit the furthest, who can drink the fastest, Nick Cage just won every time, obviously,
It was so good to go past your spit.
That makes me very proud.
Dear Casey.
Yeah, I love how formal he is with his own daughter when he's writing back. It was so nice to read your letter. Why would you would speak like that to your daughter? But you know, it makes it funny.
Oh, like I keep going back to it, but like the dialogue is, I absolutely love it. It's there's just so many zingers and liners.
But it's what makes a lot of the characters really, you know, like just more memorable than they probably should have been. It was just, you know, that's why it was really. I don't know how much that would have been on the page originally, or if you know actors might have ad-libbed stuff, and that'd have been quite interesting to know. But yeah, that would have been a funny set to be on, definitely.
Oh, 100%.
Surrounded by so much, just so much star power.
Star power and just big old men being men.
Big old burly dudes.
Yeah.
Just being bloody blokes.
Oh. But what I did notice as well, like as much as I love Con Air and I'll die on the hill for Con Air, it's not amazingly crafted. There are some bits where you're like, huh? What? There's like quite a few goofs. Like for example, you know when they're at Lerner Airfield and John Cusack drives the ass kicker car.
Yeah. And
it gets attached to the plane as it's leaving. Like I am proper nitpicking here, but it's just something that I noticed. Like as the wires going nuts and whatnot, and it's all of a sudden underneath the car from outside where the car was parked. And it's like, how did the whole wire get underneath the car for it to clip onto? And it's just like little things like that. I'm like,
all right, filmmaking goofs, really.
And like with Cyrus the Virus's death scene, which is completely baffling. When I watched it last,
I was going to say I've got a pretty similar when I was watching it the other day. It was just, it's all very convenient, isn't it?
It's like he lands where he goes through like this walkway tunnel, doesn't he? When he's attached to the fire engine, goes through it, which would technically lead him back onto the street, but he ends up in some sort of mining facility.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere by the Strip. I've not been to Las Vegas, but
there's just mining sites, just, you know, after every hotel, obviously.
And I was like, what?
He sort of goes down it, then lands conveniently head up, and then just lays there while his thing comes on. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool way to go, but
I mean, when you see him going up that escalator thing, how his body falls, he's nowhere near the presser thing. And I'm like,
and then he just why wouldn't you have moved as well, unless you know what I mean, or he's paralyzed or something. But yeah, he just sort of waits there for like, it feels like a minute, and then just waits for this thing to come down on him. It's a bit. I think the one bit that there's only so much of your suspension of disbelief is like the bit when Nick Cage just gets shot in the arm and he doesn't even flinch. But then later on, he's holding it, and I'm like, why are you holding it now? Wouldn't it you've hold? You know, that just didn't totally make a lot of sense.
And an offshoot of that is when he stabs John Malkovich through the leg with the broken stick, like all the way through, all the way through, and then bang, Malkovich is up for a fist fight.
Yeah.
Again,
you'd be hobbling, wouldn't you?
You'd be in a lot of pain. I'm guessing a broken leg.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you know, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not going for super realism in this film, but as I say, you could have just not had him shot in the arm, maybe just grazed or something like that. Like it was just weird. It was weird, and you know, and then he, you know, runs around for ages with his, you know, moving his arms and stuff. It just seems like it was a weird choice, and again with the leg as well.
Yeah, Again, it doesn't take any fun out of it. It's just things that you go,
yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, it was just some odd choice. Like that stuff, you've got to kind of, there's got to be a little bit of groundness to it.
Exactly, but again, it's like it kind of helps the film as well because it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's total nitpicks.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, I love it. Apparently, Nick Cage would travel to Alabama to work on his accent.
Oh, that's great.
If you were an Alabama local, you'd be like, who the fuck did he learn that from? Hands up. We're kicking you out of Alabama.
But it is just like it is just like a southern twang added to his already his accent, isn't it? I love it. It's one of the best parts of the film, I think. His southern drawl.
Oh yeah, just to have a film with Cameron Poe in a room, just reading something in that drawl, and you've got yourself a hit.
Yeah, I think like he should reprise his role as Cameron Poe.
I mean, Cameron Poe has influenced pop culture, which is mad because did you know the Kid Rock song "American Badass" is based on Cameron Poe?
Okay. I wonder if that's where Kid Rock's like original look came from as well, because he was a very denim jeans, long hair, white vest.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that look was stolen from him as well.
I you know what, Gib? I'm gonna go right ahead and confirm that that's true.
See, Nick Cage, just the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh mate, he's the best.
Yeah, but then when we can blame him for Kid Rock, yeah.
I mean, Kid Rock was going to happen even if you liked it or not, and a lot of people didn't. Apparently, he's actually quite rich. He comes from a rich background.
Who, Kid Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he was making up the whole trailer park trash thing.
Oh, that's because originally he was like a full-on like rapper with like the Kid Play kind of hairdo.
Yeah.
It was very like old school hip hop, and then just suddenly he turned into his cowboy persona. But did him well. He made more money doing that, so all the power to him. Playing his pimp daddy, again, which probably like all the all the rings and stuff like that probably taken from Nick Cage.
Probably, yeah. Oh
yeah.
But yeah, I know Jordan. Jordan jokingly said once in college when we were doing film studies that Con Air changed his life, and he said something along the lines of "It's the pinnacle of cinema."
I didn't know that.
Which our lecturer told him to leave the room as soon as possible. I think he said something on the lines of "You're full of shit."
Is this why he was trying to make you watch a Kurosawa film or something? And he's like, "It's no Con Air."
No Con Air.
I wonder if he still stands by that.
I hope he does.
We'll have to ask him next time. But yeah, I can imagine. I imagine the answer is probably no. But...
Yeah, and another thing I always take away from Con Air, like music wise, like I will always like I can't remember who sung it, but the song "How Do I Live."
Oh yeah, it's like proper country. I think she was like a proper country singer, wasn't she? But it kind of bookends, doesn't it? It's on at the beginning, it ends with that song as well. I don't know if that song was kind of like came out for that film. I don't know if it was when they used to tie songs in at that point. I don't know. It was maybe already released, but yeah.
Well, it was strange because it was nominated for an Oscar and a Razzie in the same year.
Well, the film or the song?
The song.
Oh, okay. That's weird.
Oh,
So I take it that it was probably made for the film because with it being nominated for an Oscar, I'm guessing it was for Con Air. I couldn't imagine like a music video for that though, with like clips of
all the action. How do I
yeah,
live with?
and then it's just like planes crashing into fucking Las Vegas and stuff, which watching as well. How the fuck did they do a lot of that stuff? A lot of the plane crashing into Vegas and stuff. I'm guessing it was probably all miniatures and stuff, but it's still really well done. That still really holds up that part.
Yeah, the effects in it are. I mean, there's sometimes a bit ropey.
Yeah,
but that's to be expected in a '97 film.
Oh yeah, but not enough to kind of take you out there.
No. Yeah, it seems to be mostly physical, and I did pick up like a few plane shots with CGI or miniatures when it was crashing, but I thought it was.
It's still really well done. Still holds up.
100%.
But yeah, it was just. I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I've been to Vegas before. I couldn't imagine even trying to film anything there. It's so fucking busy all the time. It's like trying to film something in the middle of London. So yeah, just to kind of get some of that stuff in. Fair play.
Yeah, I mean,
I commend.
I mean, a lot of the film is in the aircraft, in it, which I really like and goes, no pun intended, under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, and I keep going back to the one line. I keep on getting like flashbacks of cheesy lines and really on the nose dialogue. Like, at the beginning where he comes home to Trisha Poe.
Yeah.
And she tells him like he's pregnant. He's leaning down. Goes, what's that you say? You're going to be Miss Alabama.
Well, that makes your dad a very proud.
But it's the bar thug at the end of the bar looking at Trisha Poe. Just, I give half my life for a piece of that woman.
And it was just they're just so like so over the top, like stereo. It's like they should have had like sort of like neon lights above them, just saying "bad guy," like it's just just setting it up already, and like it is, and like I say when it goes outside as well. Obviously, there's another mining site, a metal crushing site or whatever with flames coming up and adding to the rain. Like, it's the most cinematic bar fight ever.
I gotta say, I really like the cinematography in the film. I love the way everything looks. It's sweaty, it's grimy, and like you said, that fight scene at the beginning, well shot with the rain. It was they had the flames in the background. It was very Jerry Bruckheimer.
It was like it's like as I say, it had its own pyro. But yeah, no, the cinematography is really. It's got that. It's got to say, it's what you got in the '90s. That very wide frames. Just a lot of low angle shots, and it just made. I think it was just made everything very grand in scale. Films like Bad Boys and The Rock and stuff. They all had that type of, as I say, Jerry Bruckheimer. That sort of influenced sort of set like through like set of films. Con Air definitely goes into that category.
I just got another line in my head. Oh my God, Cameron, this guy's dead. It's like excellent dialogue. Excellent.
I always love when he throws Dave Chappelle out of the plane as well, and like the old couple where the car smashes off.
Goddamn bird shit.
And it's sort of,
I mean, you could argue that Con Air its subcategory is comedy.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely it's tongues firmly and it's cheek. It's as I say, you wouldn't call it a comedy, but it's got its comedic elements.
And one of my favorite lines that like I always remember from it is from John Malkovich's character where he's singing about the dead agent.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing makes me sadder when the agent lost his bladder in the airplane.
Yeah, and that's what I do like about John Malkovich's character as well, because he has got some very dark comedic lines in it as well, like that. And just adds to, as I say, just makes him a bit more complex than just, I'm a baddie and I'm just gonna, I'm gonna kill everyone and stuff like that. So there's a few more layers to him. But yeah, and what a name as well, Cyrus the Virus.
Well, going on names in Con Air, mate. Everyone's got a boss name.
Yeah. Everyone's got like a WWE, like a wrestler name, haven't they? Like, like they could all be, they could all have their own logos and their own, like, t-shirts and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, Cameron Poe. I mean, really, he should have just been called John Everyman, but Cameron Poe's better. You've got a Baby O. Baby O.
Who's Baby O?
Is Michael Williamson is his best mate with diabetes.
Yeah. It was always the best friend, wasn't he? Always the best friend in films. You got the L, it was the Swamp Thing. He's called that Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing.
Pilot. Yeah, you got is it Pinball Parker? Oh, that's so Dave Chappelle. You got Diamond Dog. Big Graves. Cool name. Yeah. So it has a very sort of WWF at the time.
Billy Bedlam, the Marietta Mangler. It's like, Johnny 23.
I know, yeah. You do kind of forget that about Danny Trejo a little bit. He gets kind of lost in the mix a little bit, but yeah, he was popping up into a lot of stuff at that time.
Yeah, he was typecast, but I think it works for him. He gets
such a tiny man in real life as well.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably about the same size as me. He's you'd think he was. Oh. You think he was a big burly dude, wouldn't you? But I mean, he is. He's always been kind of quite big, but very, very small.
Oh, right. Yeah, he always seems very, very tall, probably because of his build.
Yeah. Even I was thinking of like Dustin Dawn. You just kind of think of him as quite a tall dude, but
yeah,
I'd have on some stilts maybe or something like that.
Come on, little Danny. Up you
Maybe that's why he never got his. Because I think Robert Rodriguez's original idea for Desperado and El Mariachi was meant to be for Danny Trejo.
Oh.
So I think that's where Machete came from, or probably developed into at some point.
They're related, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah, but I think he'd been in a lot of films to that point. But yeah, I think he's got Robert Rodriguez to thank for bringing him into the mainstream. I
mean, he's quite the success story, Danny Trejo, because he was in prison, and now he's a film star. I mean, he's done loads of smaller roles, which is his bread and butter. But obviously, thanks to Robert Rodriguez, he got his own film or films with the Machete films. He's done really well.
Seemed like a really nice dude as well. I remember seeing his Q&A and stuff at the con that I met him at, and seemed like a really nice dude. Very smiley. He was walking around very very happy, very smiley. Like he walked past my my table at one point and just sort of like smile and give me a nod, and I was like, oh, look at that. But then
I something, you cheap prick.
It's not a fucking library. But yeah, I just remember walking past. I was like, oh my god, he's really small.
Put him in my pocket.
Yeah, and he had these big Air Jordans on. I feel like he would be even smaller if he didn't have them on. So,
big 12-inch stilettos on him. Are you a Mexican or a Mexicans?
But yeah, no, very nice dude. Very unlike his characters that he plays.
That's always good. I like hearing when people are actually nice in real life.
Yeah, well, they're not like Johnny 23.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Imagine. But going to back to Gib, I think the film's director is an odd one for me. Simon West.
Yeah.
Who again had his pomp in the 90s and noughties. he made obviously Con Air, The General's Daughter with John Travolta, which I really liked.
Actually, a good film. Yeah, I remember. I remember watching that on pay-per-view at some point because I remember my mum bought it because she used to love John Travolta. She probably still does. Yeah. So I think I think it was you've got it for like another day or something. So I was like, oh, I'll watch this. And I'm never massively into courtroom dramas and stuff, but yeah, I remember that one being pretty good. And
thought it was really well made. He also done the first Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie, which I've got a soft spot for. It
was very successful. We're very successful at the time, though. So
yeah, but he's not really done much since.
He did one of the Expendables, didn't he?
Yes, right? He done the second one.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I think people do hold in regards as the best one, but I can't really remember them, to be honest. I think I've seen 1 and 2, maybe.
But yeah, he seems like another just a Hollywood director, like not an auteur.
Yeah.
Just does the job.
Just a gun for hire sort of, yeah.
Yeah, gets the brief, goes, all right, we can make a good action film from this. No problem.
Yeah, you want to blow some shit up? Yeah.
Yeah, do you want it to look good? Explosions? Do you want southern drawls? I'm in.
We want some zingers? Just get them in there.
Exactly. And for someone who's worked with a lot of like massive film stars, you'd think he'd be a bit higher up in terms of like a name.
Yeah. But I think really like there's only like Con Air, I'd say, was probably his only kind of classic film that he's made, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, he maybe need a couple more of those under his belt to get that title.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, he does a lot of TV movies.
Yeah. Oh, which is fair enough, he's still working.
Yeah.
Could be worse jobs to have.
It's true. I'm sure he's very rich, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No doubt he's been an executive producer on one of the TV shows and is making bank.
Exactly. So
good on him.
But yeah, I think you need a few more, like a John McTiernan. You need those, those few classics spread around in your filmography for that sort of that title of action, action royalty. But he's done one classic film, so it's it's more than I've done.
Yeah, power too.
Yeah.
So Gib, in this world, this current cinematic climate we live in, it's all about sequels, prequels, and you creating a universe.
Yeah.
Would you like to see a Con Air sequel?
Probably not. No, I like it as it's a great setup. It's a great setup for an action film. A scenario as well. But what it wouldn't make sense for it to happen again, would it? Like, what would Cameron Crowe get arrested again and then get put on another Con Air? It'd make no sense, really. It'd have to be just like a Cameron Poe, like a Walker Texas Ranger sort of like show or something like that, and it's just him. Like I don't think you could call it Con Air because it's just, well, why would that happen again? And the whole point of the film was this was it's not a common thing that happens. This is just something that was a needs must. So yeah, every film doesn't need a sequel. Every film doesn't need to be. I just love it as on its own as a standalone film.
Yeah, I'm
it still holds up today.
I miss just the one hit and you're out.
Yeah.
None of this expanding the universe crap. It's just it's one story. It's all you need to know. That's it. Unless we get like Con Train, Con Vessel.
Yeah.
Con Carpool.
Well, that's just the thing, isn't it? It's like the mistake they did with Speed 2. What was the point? Speed 2 was again. So Speed was just like. Such a great fucking like set piece to set up for an action film. It's perfect. It's Die Hard on a bus.
Yeah.
But then to do another Speed, which was just the same thing but on a boat. So then you're going from a Die Hard knockoff and then it's Speed knockoff. It just makes no sense. Like it's just a one, so it's just it's just a standalone film. So you'd have been looking in that sort of situation, and I'm sure a Con Air sequel would have just been a straight to DVD, straight to video sort of bullshit. And with half of the, maybe like some actors like Danny Trejo might have popped up in it or something. But yeah, it wouldn't have had the same star power and all that. So I'm glad that no one ever got the greasy mitts on it.
I mean, if
I'm sure it made a lot of money at the time. I don't know the total box office kind of takings for it. I'm sure it was pretty successful. From what I remember, it was all over the place when I remember it coming out.
Yeah, I mean, if I was given permission and carte blanche to do a sequel, it would be just Cameron Poe sitting there reading a book of poetry whilst kissing his own shoulders. That's the sequel right there.
I'd watch a new trilogy of just that.
Yeah, I mean, it was so good to read your feedback on the TV show.
Yeah, just have him hosting a bunch of films. Just
proper deadpan. Yeah. I do not agree with the violence in this film. Hummingbird, burrito.
Yeah, you could just plonk Cameron Poe in anything. Yeah, I'd still watch it, but I'm glad we just got what we got.
Yeah, it's always best to be happy with what you got and not think about what you didn't get. Mm-hmm. And we got one hell of a film in Con Air. It's got its issues, but we don't care because it's just fun.
Takes nothing away from the film at all.
No, it's just a good old fashioned sit back, turn your brain off,
popcorn,
and enjoy Nicolas Cage's hair flowing through the wind.
And him running in slow motion, running away from explosions.
Well, baby, it's not exactly my ties and Yahtzees, but let's do it. I went a bit Arnie then. Do it now.
You're getting mixed with the getting mixed with the last podcast. So, where would you hold Con Air in terms of favorite of all time action movies in general?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Maybe just say action, just to not totally complicate stuff.
Yeah, I mean, for me, just because I watched it when I was a kid, it's automatically it gets the feels from me. It like those were the days when I could go to the pictures with me man and watch a 15 film and absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's action films that are amazing and absolutely tremendous pieces of cinema, and there's schlock, which I'm going to put Con Air in the schlock category.
Yeah.
And in terms of schlocky action films, it's up there.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. Or at least walks the fine line of schlock, doesn't it? Because mixed it, with the big Hollywood blockbuster. So it's it treads a fine line, definitely.
So, but it's definitely up for. I don't like the word guilty pleasure because
no, God, it's no way. It's not a guilty pleasure. No,
it's so much fun. If I were to make a top 10, it would be in the top 10.
Yeah. No one's like shame. No one's ashamed to admit that they like Con Air. It's not like that type of guilt. As a guilty pleasure. It's again, it's just when sometimes when films know exactly what they are, it just works.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like Con Air is a prime example of that.
100%, mate. And as an illustrator, Gib, I'd like to get your thoughts on the Con Air poster because I love it. I love the floating heads above the plane, the jailbird, and the one I always see is the one where you see the back of Diamond Dog holding two guns up in the air.
You only got that on a couple of I think it was like on the VHS release or something.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's not the best poster I've ever seen. I would love to have it to have come out in like the 80s or like early 90s. And of the early 90s, and saw like a really cool illustrated poster with it with all the explosions and stuff and a lot of the characters on it. And I feel like it does deserve that type of treatment one day. Maybe I'll do one day, or maybe I'll try and do it some. I don't know. It might be hard to do it justice, but yeah, I like drawing explosions, so maybe I can do one day.
I think the world needs the definitive Con Air poster.
Yeah,
and the one we got for the official merch poster, as much as I like it, it can always be improved upon, and I think that's where you, Gib, come in.
The only thing I'm not like too keen, because I think isn't like John Cusack kind of front center on the poster, because I mean he's a big star then. I don't totally agree with that, because he's not really, I don't think he's as integral to the story as like a few other people that probably could be on there instead. It should just be about Nick Cage and John Malkovich really. But that's Hollywood for you though. They've got to throw in stars, haven't they? But he wouldn't be front and center in if I was to ever do a poster of it. He'd be on there, but
idea for the poster. It's a very simplistic design. It's a hummingbird coming out of an explosion. I think that sums it up perfectly.
Or it's just Cameron Poe reading Casey's letter.
It was so good to read your letter.
There you go. That's why they missed the trick. It was just
They need to do an arty one with a hummingbird on fire.
There you go. The poster's just illustrating itself now.
Exactly. That's all the information you need. Like a hummingbird on fire.
Yeah.
And the film's called Con Air. I need to watch this film. I love hummingbirds. Trisha Poe.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool shit you could put on there. A lot of explosions. You got Vegas. You've obviously got the plane with the car hanging off the back of it, and yeah, there's a lot of cool looking characters in it as well. So hopefully someone will do on Monday.
Yeah, it'd be a super cool project to work on.
Maybe a Blu-ray release one day. Someone will do it justice.
Oh, I'm waiting for a collector's edition to come out. 4 discs, loads of extras, art cards.
Yeah.
And a plane ticket for the jailbird. How cool would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with it being like a big studio film, it's probably, I can't imagine anyone being able to buy the rights to it to do that sort of justice, unfortunately. Like, for like an Arrow or a Vinegar Syndrome or something like that to release it, which I couldn't really see happening. So it's probably owned by Disney now. I can imagine. It's Touchstone Pictures was Disney, wasn't it? So you're gonna get your fucking bare bones edition probably. I think your best edition is probably the 2-disc DVD from back in the day.
Oh God, yeah, I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, that's one I've still got. So I think that's probably the best. That's probably your best bet.
Shame. What a shame.
What a shame. It deserves the boutique treatment, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, I've seen some reviews online, and it pretty much follows the same thing. It's like everyone's just like, it's fun. It's a fun action film. High energy. Nick Cage's boss. Solid action movie. The ultimate guy movie someone's put. And I was like,
that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
You could say that. There's a lot of other action films from that era you could pick, but I mean, I'd say Predator was probably the ultimate guy film, but Con Air's must be it's probably a close second, definitely.
Oh, 100%. It's definitely up there. All right, Gib, I think we've exhausted our love for Con Air. Well, maybe not exhausted our love. We'll always love Con Air, but
I know. I feel like I'm gonna have to take a nap after all this.
No, I'm exhausted. I might fall asleep after this Con Air love making.
Just
Classic me.
listening to the sweet tones of Cameron Poe, just put you to sleep.
Dear Dan, it was so good to read all that.
Thank you for that review. It makes me very, very proud.
Those ping balls have made me very popular. Oh, I want to watch it again now.
Oh, yeah, same.
Yeah.
I'll maybe give it a week. I'll give it a week. I can't watch it twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
Or maybe I could. I'll probably have maybe when I was a bit younger.
Yeah, I remember it being on a regular rotation on my VHS collection.
Yeah, it's so easy to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just so.
It's very easy. It's very rewatchable.
Yeah,
it was always something when it was on TV as well. Like even if it was halfway through, you could just pick it up and it was like you'd never left, and you was oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here with me mates again.
Yeah.
with the boys. Here with the boys on the plane. Yeah. My boys.
Yeah, it's definitely one of them films. Like you said, if it comes on the TV and even if it's halfway through, you go, hang on, there's a really boss bit coming up. Or
yeah.
I really like this line. Check
I'm sure there was a phase when like ITV used to have it on all the time. When they used to the same fucking film over and over and over again.
Harry
like,
Potter.
Oh my God, for fuck's sake. Con Air again. Well, I'm watching it anyway.
Yeah. If I must.
If I must. Yeah, I've got it on DVD, but I'll watch it again with the fucking adverts.
Yeah.
Which I did with Hot Fuzz so many times.
Oh, they need to stop showing that film. Not that I've got a lot of love for Hot Fuzz, but they've just absolutely ruined
exhausted it. Yeah.
Oh, well, right then, Gib. I think that's a pod for today. Thank you very much.
Another one in there. Another one in the can.
Another one in the can. Look at us go. We are magnificent beasts.
Just shooting through them all at the moment.
Yeah. Get them done. Tick them off the list. Move on. Check us out. We're the envy of everyone. Well, as always, mate, it's a pleasure to speak to you and wax lyrical about awesome films and Nick Cage. Yeah. So yes, I will catch you soon, Gib. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. See you soon.
Adios.